Okay, this is a quick and dirty rundown of the Best Picture and Oscar nominations. Best Picture, Begonia, haven't seen it. F1, 6 out of 10 movie, kind of ridiculous that it got in there. Um, yeah, it's just because it made a lot of money, I guess, and Apple is good at lobbying. Frankenstein is like, okay, it has a bunch of craft to it. I don't like the movie that much. I think it looks very ugly, but I understand why it's there. Hamnet, again, understand why it's there. It's the most Oscar baity movie of the year. Marty Supreme, I could have told you it was going to get in. In fact, my brother mentioned to me that I got like, I don't know, 15 out of 26 categories correct in guessing. Um, One Battle, of course, Secret Agent, haven't seen it. I've heard mixed things that it's like confusing in structure and whatnot, but admirable. Sentimental Value, great. I knew it was going to be there. Sinners, I knew it was going to be there. Train Dreams, sure, toss it in there. Best Director, no real surprises here. Chloe Zhao, Josh Safdie, Paul Thomas Anderson, Joaquin Trier, and Ryan Coogler. The only person who wasn't there is Jafar Panahi, who I expected, but he gets in writing, I think. Best Actor, you have Chalamet and DiCaprio. These are the top two, and then you have Ethan Hawke as the number three. You got Michael B. Jordan for Sinners as both his characters credited. I didn't know you could credit one actor for both their characters. Um, that's where like the nomination is the win. Good for Michael B. I honestly don't think he's that great in the movie or necessarily great of an actor. He's more of a presence guy, but then you also got Wagner Mora, another guy who is kind of like, are we sure this guy is like a great actor or something? Because he's just weird to me. The most interesting to me was when he was unhinged in Elysium, and ever since then I have yet to see him in a great role. A bit of that comes out in Civil War, but yeah, anyways, good for him. He seems like a nice guy. Buckley, Rose Byrne, and Renee Rensiv and Emma Stone are kind of no surprises. Emma Stone is a bit of a dark horse here just because you knew based on the role that she could get in, but also because unlike, the rest of these characters, or let's say Kate Hudson, who's probably the true surprise for Song Sung Blue, is that most of these, like you have wife of Shakespeare, somebody who's like a mother and post-traumatic stress. You have a daughter. Emma Stone is just like a girl boss. She's her own person. She is the central character in her story, and it's also not based on the subversion of that to make her the main character. Um, so that's why I think gives her an advantage. She really does have meaty material here. Um, but I'll have to check Song Sung Blues box office, which let me just do that right now. Can I do it right now? If I do that, go down to the latest weekend. It is currently at number 14. How is it holding? 7, 17, 47, 44. It's going okay. Still in over 1,000 theaters. It can hold on, but 35 million, pretty good at 48 million worldwide. Wonder how much it cost. Let's see if I can find out how much it cost. I would guess it's the 30 million. It is 30 million. Okay. And then you have supporting actor Benicio and Sean Penn, of course. Delroy, they talked about putting him in. I really like him. I don't think that this role is anywhere near his best. Jake Lordy, I mean, good for him for getting in. He is pretty solid in the movie, but again, it's not a lot of acting emotionally or in words. It's physical acting, which is underrated. So good. And then Stellan Skarsgård is apparently the first person to get an acting nomination in the supporting role for a film that is in not in the English language, apparently, or international film, and then this is superlative. Elle Fanning getting supporting actresses. I mean, she just chose the right role. You got top two from Sentimental Value with Inga Ibsdottir, Lilius, Amy Madigan. They talked about getting in. Good for her. Wunmi Mosaku or Mosaku for Sinners, that was talked about as well as Tiana Taylor. Um, the last one, I like Tiana Taylor, but I don't think she's especially like amazing. in, one battle or anything. But moving on. Best original screenplay, you have one person who is an actual screenwriter, Robert Capwell, and the rest are like directors who are co-writing. Escol Vought co-wrote with that. Sinners, Ryan Coogler's screenplay is the only other solo penned one, although I do like how Jafar Panahi wrote in collaboration with Shadmir Rastin, Nader Savar, and Mehdi Mamdounian, uh, Mahmoudian, sorry. And then you got Ronald Braunstein and Josh Safdie for Marty Supreme. Well, it's just the problem is that frequently in the last 10 years they've awarded the screenplay awards to the director who wrote their own script, and I think that's anti-collaborative and anti-art. Will Tracy, Onion writer, good for him for Begonia, added adapting the film Save the Green Planet. And then you have Guillermo del Toro for Frankenstein, of course. You have Hamnet, Chloe Zhao, and Maggie O'Farrell. But anytime somebody adapts their own book, it's like, come on. Um, One Battle, you got Paul Thomas Anderson with Vineland, Thomas Pynchon. Much better than his last Pynchon adaptation, Inherent Vice. And then you have Train Dreams, based on the Denny Johnson novel with Clint and Greg Quidar, who worked together, on that last movie, Sing Sing. Animated feature, you got Arco, you got Elio, which I do not like at all. To me, that's ridiculous that that got nominated, but whatever. K-pop Demon Hunters should probably win, I think. I don't think Zootopia 2, having seen it in theaters, is anywhere near as good as the first. And Little Emily, or the character of Rain, that sounds interesting, as does Arco. So, it'll be interesting to see. Also, Natalie Portman being a producer on Arco is funny, not because like she was criticized before of, taking the vanity role of producer just to put your name on it and help promote the movie, but because if she did win, like she'd win a second Oscar for like I love it when actors win Oscars not for acting. Like it's sort of like Ben Affleck winning for producer and writer. It's like, oh yeah, he does that. Yeah, international. You really got probably a stronger lineup at its core than Best Picture because you have The Secret Agent. It was just an accident. Sentimental Value, Surat, and the voice of Hind Rajab, which people have said is like fantastic. Um, I was unsure of it at TIFF. Same with Sarat. It's difficult because you don't know about these films, but like I knew about Secret Agent and Accident and Value. It's just they didn't play enough times and was busy for me. Um, Documentary feature. Haven't heard of any of these. I'll come back to it as skip over the shorts, animated shorts, and live action shorts and whatnot. Best casting. This is a new category that they kind of, I wouldn't say wasted, but like, yeah, I like Sinners. That's a well-cast movie. I haven't seen The Secret Agent. One Battle After Another. I think it's pretty well cast. Same with Marty Supreme. Hamnet, I don't think is well cast because I think Paul Mescal is like miscast. But he's not playing Shakespeare. It's like his take on it. I just don't think, it's like good actors acting well in roles that they're poorly cast in for the two central main for Hamnet. But anyways, you got cinematography, Lautzen or Louston or Lautzen, Murray Supreme, of course, with Darius Kanji, Michael Bauman for One Battle. That's what I think should actually win. Although Adolfo Veloso for Train Dreams, I'd be happy with that because that is the most beautiful movie of the year. And then Sinners. Um, that, for its scope gets nominated, but I don't think it's an especially good-looking movie. Train Dreams is kind of the only movie this year that's like good-looking, and One Battle After Another tells the story. I hate the look of Frankenstein. It's cheap and gross. Costume design, Avatar Fire and Ash getting in is like so interesting to me. Um, Deborah L. Scott, but because it's CG animated, but it's so particular. And then you got Ruthie Carter coming back. Uh, of course, Sinners, Marty Supreme. Yeah, everything about that was like A24 going all in. And then, Frankenstein, that's the Crafts Hamnet period piece, of course. Best film editing, F1. Come on. I don't think this is a particularly well edited film, particularly compared to something like Ford versus Ferrari or Top Gun Maverick. It's not even close to those. Um, uh, Marty Supreme, I'm sure, is great, although I hear it's like very frantic, 2.5 hours long. One Battle After Another is edited really well. I think that deserves to win, although I haven't seen Sentimental Value. Sinners is also pretty well edited, but there's no way you can edit around that terrible climax that they have. Makeup, Frankenstein, easy one. Smashing Machine, glad that got nominated. I haven't seen The Ugly Stepsister. I've seen the name listed. Um, but yeah, it's like a Sundance movie from like the Netherlands. So I'll have to like take a look at it because that's like the really. It used to be a lot more common to be like, what the heck is this movie? Now, not so much. Um, then you have what have we got? Kokuho, a movie that Tom Cruise was heavily promoting. Glad that got a nomination. Um, and then you have production design, Frankenstein, of course, Hamnet, of course. The production design on that is good, but it's so cliche that it uses like natural lighting and everything so spare. Fiona Crombie is like good, but yeah. Uh, it's not a fan of that, but that comes down to Zhao's directing. Jack Fisk being nominated for production design, unsurprising. One Battle, of course. Sinners, of course. Hannah Beachler is pretty good at her job. Um, yeah. Uh, I'm surprised she hasn't won. Oh yeah, she did for you know, faux futurist, which is just only a thing I heard about, talked about around Black Panther, but whatever. And then, moving on, we got for score, Jerks and Fendrix, repeat, Alexander Desplat, repeat. Next, Richter for Hamnet is very annoying because a rival already got nominated and it uses the same track, even though it's not an original track. Hate that it was used. A bit of a redemption, though. Johnny Greenwood being nominated for One Battle is great because he was kind of snubbed for There Will Be Blood because he reused tracks. But to me, that's such like that has an original enough screenplay that he should have been nominated. And then Sinners, Ludwig, probably gonna win. Song, it's gonna be K-pop. If not, they toss it to I lied to you or something, but I haven't listened to Train Dreams yet. And then at sound, you got the action movie F1, Frankenstein, One Battle, Sinners, and Seurat, which was great to be nominated because it's about a guy at a rave looking for his daughter. Visual effects, you got The Lost Bus. And then, yeah, Avatar Fire and Ash, which we all know is going to win. Um, yeah, so that's my take. Sinners getting the most nominations of anything in history shows what a good director Ryan Coogler is, even if he flubs the final action scene. I think One Battle will win picture and director and should. And then, yeah, as for the movie that was most nominated for Best Picture, uh, I guess Avatar, Fire and Ash. But yeah, because was The Secret Agent getting a Best Picture nomination? Yeah, it did. So there isn't a movie that like is below the line that there usually is, and it's part of a trend where fewer movies take up more of the awards now that they've since gone to 10. It coalesces a lot more easier, whereas when you had only 5 movies for Best Picture, you'd get random nominations everywhere because people didn't know what boxes to check. A lot of times now, herd mentality, people are like, oh, I just have to watch these 10 or 13 films to determine what the 10 will. And so you don't get that many, like, you have Avatar, Fire and Ash, Blue Moon, K-pop Demon Hunters. It was just an accident, and Seurat. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah. So you only have five movies with two Academy Award nominations that weren't nominated for Best Picture. That is a bit odd to me, but yeah, we'll see how it goes on Oscar night, and thanks for listening.